I'm Patrick Cruickshank, CEO and Director of 9 Mile Metals. We are a VMS exploration public company in the junior mining space in Canada. We have 4 projects in the world-famous Bathurst Mining Camp, New Brunswick, Canada.
Patrick, thank you so much for the introduction. Good to be meeting you, so to speak, face-to-face over the ether. I first came across 9 Miles because I do this kind of copper review on a kind of monthly basis, and I was I hadn't heard of your company before. You've got a relatively small market capitalization, but you were putting out some quite interesting drill intersections. And so this interview came about, which is great. But before we get into the weeds and into the nitty gritty and down and dirty with that, with the one project, can you just give us a kind of a background to the company and background to you and how it started?
Sure. My background is capital markets for most of my financial career. And I started getting into private equity and I'm a big value investor and started acquiring resource projects in Chile, in Canada, in the US, and really started focusing on the world-famous Bathurst Mining Camp about 5 years ago. And we had a fantastic project called Fiddlehead Mining, and it had a VMS lens, the highest grade ever recorded, up to 10-12% copper over 20 meters with, 40% lead, zinc, et cetera, et cetera. So 9 Mile Metals acquired that in a 50% acquisition, and I came up as CEO at the first AGM meeting, and I am the largest shareholder in our group, and we've built that into 4 fantastic high-quality priority projects in the Bathurst camp. So it has undergone a name change to 9 Mile Metals due to our 9 Mile Brook original project. Okay,
and you say kind of you started looking at these projects 5 years ago. It sounds as if they're all copper focused. Did you go out with a specific kind of copper?
No, they're all VMS focused. So it's copper, lead, zinc, silver, and gold. It's a world famous VMS camp, 470 million years ago, volcanic event, and these vents and volcanoes were spitting up pure mineralization over a 10 million year period, creating these deposits along the favorable horizon. And they found about 30% of those deposits. And the most famous is the Brunswick number 12, which was 335 million tons, the largest zinc lead mine in the planet at the time. So the government, as well as us, every 20 years, there's a breakthrough in geophysical technology. So in the 50s, when the first discoveries, that was based on outcrop. There's less than 1% outcrop in the whole camp. It's 300, square kilometers. And there's 45 deposits, right? 25 of them over 1 million tons, but they're all VMS. So the 5 elements. We believe, as the government does, that new technology with drone technology, new geophysics, that there's a rash of new discoveries coming because everything's hidden. These are vertical deposits, hidden underground. Small footprint at surface between 500 and 1,000 meters, but they can go down up to 2 miles. So they're very hard to find. And with today's technology, obviously, when you look at our press releases, California Lake, we use a lot of reprocessing and artificial intelligence to reprocess all data. And then we come in with our advanced program and fly drones and do downhole EM and all these different things to find these. But we believe we have the correct advanced geophysical preparatory partner and the reprocessing filter system. And we've shown that with the new Wedge program and last year's California Lake program, we are finding new VMS. And now we're going to really use this year to launch our big program.
You talk about kind of geophysical techniques over time. I think a lot of the Canadian VMS and nickel deposits were kind of explored for and found by Cominco and Inco. They did a lot of these airborne surveys. They covered kind of huge swathes of North America or Canada in particular. Do you still have access to that data? I mean, is that part of the regional data set that you've got?
Correct. The Bathurst Mining Camp being so successful, obviously, the government and big companies, Noranda and Cominco, which is now Teck, and they flew regional geophysics. But don't forget, it was 1,000 line spacing. It wasn't very strong. It was fixed wing. I mean, everything's evolved, even V10. So now we're using anti-collision GPS drones flying 10 meters off the surface that can actually shoot down, up to 800-900 meters, not 100 meters, right? And then extrapolating. So now we're flying 25-meter line spacing with high-def UAV, and the software is it's really the interpretation, the AI, and the
processing power,
the new RPGeo interpretations, right? So that's where every 20 years there's a breakthrough of discoveries, whether it's gravity or mag or whatever, and we believe we're right there, and we're taking all the old data sets and reprocessing them using AI and having great success. Because we can go deeper now, and that's what it is,
Sorry, I've followed my instincts and gone down the rabbit hole of kind of technical details already, but I'm just keeping it at the corporate level. You said that you're the largest shareholder. What is that shareholding, and what about the rest of the board and management relative to, and the rest of the shareholder register?
Yeah, we're I haven't looked lately, but I think we're around 70 million shares outstanding. And, the Fiddlehead Group that was acquired, 50-50, I think management, including myself and Gary Lohman and people, insiders over 10%. We're about 34, I think around, last time I checked, about 34% interest.
Okay. When you did that merger, did you do a capital raise? Who was the merger with? So it was with Nine Mile.
Well, we've done non-brokered raises. There are institutional funds that participate, and obviously we just raised some more flow through for, because we really believe in our technology and putting the money for the shareholder value in the ground. And you can see that with CDAR, and our obviously our overhead is one of the lowest in the industry, especially in exploration, as well as management fees. So we're very proud of that. We are really aligned with our shareholder base. Obviously, we have not sold any stock since we've become partners in this company. And
remind me, what's your most recent kind of flow-through raise? So what's the cash position in the company?
We raised $1 million in December, 1.2 million, and then we just raised again, and I believe it's February, March. We just topped it up because we had a drill program in January. That's what we're press releasing right now. We're halfway through those holes, press releasing the results, and then we topped up, added another 500,000 last month, just so we go back to over $1 million in flow through funding, because we're at the same time as getting these results. We have a full crew down there. We are very active. We just announced downhole EM geophysics on these 2 drill holes programs to get a look. We just acquired the historic Kaminko 73 surface holes and over 110 underground drilling holes, and we're having those 3D modeled right now on the Wedge mine that we're releasing these results on our own drilling, so we can, obviously our mandate is to prove this mine, which is only one of 11 of our targets, is has a lot more life in it than Cameco thought in the 60s when the pillar collapsed, when they were only mining the top half of the mine. But again, there was no ICP back then. They didn't assay for silver, gold. It was just lead, zinc. And this is really a copper-rich mine. Obviously, if you look at our press releases, very, very high copper with silver. So we're very excited to prove our mandate, which is the eastern flank of this is new and unmined, and that's where these four or five drill holes that were released already are concentrated. And then because of the snow and the access, we couldn't get to the west side of the mine. We're going to prove that this footprint is much bigger and deeper. And that's our mandate on this one high priority target. But we have, 11, 12 priority targets with our geophysics in our Western portfolio.
Let's just pull it to the portfolio. At the portfolio level, you've got 4 main project areas in New Brunswick. Those are 9 Mile Brook, the Wedge.
That's our eastern portfolio, which is about 10 kilometers due west of the famous Brunswick 6 and 12 mine.
So what's in the
eastern portfolio?
Because it's grown. In that?
9 Mile Brook project. Everything is right there.
Okay, so 9 Mile Brook is the eastern portfolio.
It's one project. It's massive, all continuous on the eastern part of the Bathurst Mining Camp. On the western part of the Bathurst Mining Camp, we have 3 projects that we built and acquired. Canoe Landing Lake, which is east and west, and in the middle of that is the 33 million ton Canoe Landing Lake deposit. We believe the deposit goes on to both our properties. We have Canoe Landing Lake, and we have the Wedge. And they're all continuous.
And sorry, you said Canoe Landing twice. So you've got California Lake.
East and west, flanking the Canoe Landing Lake deposit in the middle.
Yeah, and you've got California Lake as well?
We have the Wedge, and we have California Lake.
Okay, got it. And the drill holes that have been coming out so far, the ones that you're kind of releasing at the moment, these are all from the Wedge.
Correct. We did a winter drill program in January, and that's the Wedge.
Okay, and I mean there's some out today. I mean it's one of the series.
Correct. The assays come back. I mean, all the labs are very busy these days since the market is much more robust, and because these are fairly big intercepts. When we send when it's prepared at the preparation lab, they're sending them to one of 4 labs, and the holes are getting broken up, right? So the samples are anonymous, and they come back in different orders, so we can't release a hole till the entire width is back, and that's why they're coming out at different times. And right now, what we press released today is hole number 8, and that is 134% copper equivalent over 44 meters, including 3.73% over 12 and 4.57% copper equivalent over 9 meters. This is all on the eastern flank of the historic Wedge mine. Because it collapsed, we're not drilling the old center of this mine. We're drilling what our geophysics is saying. Here's 2 extensions, totally new, and this is the 5th hole. Phenomenal copper results with really strong widths, averaging 35 to 40 meters,
and strong 1% copper.
Yeah, with copper, silver, and a couple of them lead zinc at the bottom of the hole. But we're very excited. These are shallow drill program, 200 meters. We are already press released EM downhole that will be happening the first week of June. And we'll get down there, look at the depth of this, because remember, this Wedge mine was only mined, halfway down, so it's totally untouched, and they don't know their actual depth back in the 50s, They didn't have the geophysics we have today. So we're going to test the depth and the overall footprint, and our mandate is to prove this mine has a lot of millions of tons in there new, and that they didn't know, and it's very economic. We do believe the Wedge mine is one in a series VMS deposits come in a cluster of pearls, and we have that Wedge trend with the West Wedge and the Tri-Bag, and we're going to attack that in our summer drill program, starting next month. So we're going to show this is part of a regional trend, but the Wedge mine itself, you start from ground zero, and it's got a lot of life in it. We're proving that out.
So what's the plan here? Just to kind of reiterate that, are you going to just put it? You've got geophysics, which showing, you said, I think 11 targets. You've got 4 project areas. Is the plan to put in a few holes in each of them and just kind of dress this up for sale? I mean, is this kind of are you just here for the short-term exploration? Are you just trying to kind of show that this has got near-term potential? Or, what's the plan?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Bathurst camp has, the government and all of us in the camp believe there's only about 30% of the deposits haven't been discovered. There's parts of that favorable horizon where all those deposits are landed, where they were owned by small prospectors. They didn't put much money in. They're underexplored from a company standpoint. So we've acquired that over. In our Western portfolio, we have 3 main continuous projects. So we have roughly 100 square kilometers there. We've taken all of our geophysics over the last year and a half, and we have identified 11 trends, not just targets. So these are regional geological and geophysical trends, and we are going to go explore those with drill holes in the ground. Just to take a backup, because I know you haven't been following the story from day one, California Lake East is a trend, and we drilled that in 2022, and we hit on 8 of 11 holes up to 20 meters of VMS. Now, that was at the very northern tip of the trend because we didn't own what we believe is a source target, the really high identified source. And we did acquire that this last year. So we own that whole trend, and we will be attacking that. That is considered target 6 in our geophysical target map that we press release out there, and keep going back to it. It's our exploration roadmap. So we have full access now in the camp, and we will be attacking our priority targets already identified with a full drill program this summer.
This all sounds great, but it also sounds like kind of big company stuff, and you're talking about kind of just doing a capital raise of $500,000 kind of through flow through.
Well, we have $1 million of flow through now, and what you got to understand with Bathurst versus countries like Chile, and so we're paying less than $100 Canadian per meter to drink. It's very affordable in New Brunswick. These VMS deposits, you can get a lot of, it's very economic to go down 100 to 300 meters, right? And we use track-mounted, enviro-friendly drill rigs. You can go down ATV trails out in the camp, in the bush, and you're not cutting down. So you're very environment-friendly. Your footprint's really small. The cost, obviously, with rubber track-mounted rigs, you can, you don't make any real damage like you do with container, track mount, where you're just dragging them through and creating all these issues with a dozer. So we're very friendly. It's very important to us, and green as much as we can. And these are really affordable drill programs.
But it's still,
so we get a lot of bang for our buck.
You may do, but I mean, it's still, you got 100 square kilometers. Geophysical programs, drilling programs. It sounds as if you could do with kind of a much bigger exploration budget. You could do with a kind of a real whack.
Yeah, we can, but as you know, looking at our share cap and so on, we don't want to over dilute at these prices. We think we're on sale. Obviously, we hit a high. You can go look at our market. We hit almost, I think we hit a high near the 40s at the peak there, and like the whole market pullback. But we think for our shareholder value to be prudent and custodians of our company is not. We don't need to raise at these levels and over dilute. Obviously. Because we're very aware, and we're all, like I said, we're all shareholders on the same side of the table. So we're trying to do what's prudent for everybody. Yes, we will continue, but we'll raise money at higher prices. That's our strategy.
It's always one of the hardest things is kind of getting that market cap up from where you are at the moment, kind of 5-6 million US. What do you see as a catalyst? In this market, what do you think is going to be required to kind of give you that kick?
Several things. Obviously, there's, 3,000-4,000 junior mining companies out there, right? Everybody vying for exploration dollars and so on. And the biggest problem I find we have is like most startup companies. People don't know you exist. So getting viewership and eyes out there and people to know, because we do have stellar press release drill results, and it's just a matter of time. So we're, obviously putting our money in the ground. Our overhead is pencil thin. We have proven our technology works in finding this VMS and extensions and so on. So we do use high tech. It is very expensive, but we don't think we need that anymore. We have a roadmap that we've press released several times. Now it's executed. And executing, like you said, capital markets as well, executing marketing and letting people know that we exist. I mean, we have a very religious following in Canada. We traded over 65 million shares just over a year ago. We were the top 6 on CEO.ca. But like everything, I mean, everybody's vying for dollars and eye space. And I believe we have to tell our story and get it out there to more and more markets that don't know who we are and what we've accomplished and more importantly, what's coming. Because really, it's just executing drill programs at this point for the next 12 months.
So you, in a sense, you'd say that you've done the kind of the whiz bang black box computer stuff. So the windfall geotech and all of that. You've done the smart stuff, and now it's just it's combining that with real geology and getting out there and getting the drilling done.
And drill results, and then using downhole, because the problem is, like I said before, these are vertical deposits and they're deep. and you're not going to find it without prop, right? So even airborne geophysics, VTEM, whatever, I mean, it really, the power sources on these are only seeing down 300-400 meters native. These things go up to 2 miles down. I mean, so we're doing our drill program, and when we know we're in VMS, which we are at the wedge, we're going to do downhole, borehole, EM, and look another 400 or 500 meters and really see in all directions, right? So, and then we'll bring in phase 2 drill program at the wedge, and we'll prove the trend, and we'll prove the bigger footprint. So, yeah, we have the real core of our geophysics is done, and we've reprocessed, identified the targets. We checked it and backward tested it with known deposits for the footprint of the signature. And if you look at our mapping, Canoe Landing Lake, 33.8 million tons, it's 99% the same footprint of what we've identified as our targets with the late time conductive response. And what that is you charge the ground, and what holds the charge the longest, we believe, is a continuous block of VMS sulfides. So the late time strong conductor, and it's been proven in the camp, that is your deposit. So if you think about a big brick of VMS and you charge it, of course it holds the longest charge and dissipates the slowest because it's like a continuous loop of a charge. It holds it like a battery. And when it's disseminated or vein-based, you charge the ground, and there's breaks in the loop, so it loses its charge. So that's kind of a dummy's book, but we've identified our targets. Now it's doing the advanced over the hole, the EM grid drilling, and then doing downhole and proving the size of some of these. But we're very, very high on the orphan mine strategy, which is taking the wedge and proving it's bigger. Since it stopped producing in the 60s. And it wasn't even mined out. There was that pillar collapse. So they don't even know what's left. We're proving it what it is there. But these things come in string of pearls, and the regional trends on the contact identified by our geophysics as well as the geology and historic. So we're looking forward to this summer proving out. And back to your point about, the market and not just seeing eyes. The way the market is right now, they're really only rewarding. They don't reward your geophysics program and what you're putting out there is what you're going to do. They're rewarding drill holes. They're rewarding intercepts. And that's what this market today is looking for. And we're very active this year.
In a strange way, you've been publishing these news releases for kind of a couple of months now, 6 weeks or so.
About a month. Yeah. About a month and a half on this program.
Yeah. You were up at 40 cents 18 months ago, kind of the end of 2022. You're 42 cents. You're now under 10 cents. It's been an awful year last year. I think the market really started picking up just as you were, at PDAC when the gold price jumped $100, the copper price started moving as well. It really feels as if there are kind of green shoots in the market. You said you had kind of a lot of liquidity, a lot of trading, and that must have been, and you said you've got a good following in Canada retail. Can you see the chatter? Do you check the bulletin boards? What are people saying about 9 Mile Metals at the moment?
I mean, a lot of people, we have that big lens that we have over in 9 Mile Brook, and we're so large a footprint, and I think a lot of people are looking for the drill reports. There's some folks that obviously want us to attack everything, but like you said and what you've identified, I mean, we have a big land position, and we have 11 targets. Can't attack them all with 3 holes. We want to focus on the priorities, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The wedge, obviously, we're going to hopefully prove it's bigger and economic. We are going to attack, now that the snow is melted, we are going to attack our target number 6, our high priority target there, which is brand new. We drilled a deep hole up in California Lake, hole number 10 it's called, and we have announced our borehole on that. That's deep. That's a very deep hole, 600-700 meters, and we'll be doing downhole on that first week of June as well. And so as these are coming, but you got to remember, like from a capital market standpoint, we got a U.S. election, in November. And I really believe, yes, the commodities are great and the metals prices are great. I really think capital markets, once the U.S. election has come and gone, we'll have stability in the financial markets as well for the next 4 years, regardless of who wins. Just knowing what the policies will be. So I think you'll see a very robust fall. You really will. That's just how we're looking at it. And there's a lot of geopolitical issues at the moment globally, and I think stability is obviously very healthy and very good for financial markets. So I think all we can do is keep doing work, keep driving shareholder value up with more and more drilling and more discoveries, and that's what we're aiming to do. So we're halfway through these announcements, and today was another example of we're well on our way to showing that the Wedge mine is a lot of unmined ore, and we're going to prove it's bigger, and we'll be on to the rest of our priority targets in high priority order starting in June.
Patrick, thank you very much. This is a really useful introduction to the company. Great to hear your plans. Frustrating to see the share price where it is, but keep coming here and telling the world what you're up to. And like you, I look forward to a strong fall. Q3, Q4, bring it on.
Yes, I'm looking to have a really busy summer as we enjoy, and having wonderful results, and keep being a good steward for our show.
Great, thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you.